Hi everyone, Julie here. Today we are going to discuss or learn about the E and en situation. So this is something I've had to explain like literally 10 times this week. So I thought I would make a video because that will make my life easier to have some content to show my students. And for you as well, if you're learning French and you struggle with this and you find it confusing, here is a little explanation. I am not going to use too many like grammar nerdy words. I'm going to try and keep it super simple in case you've learned French in a more like organic way and you don't know much about like grammar, words. I'm going to try and keep it super simple. So E and en are little words that we use to replace something we've already mentioned or that we have talked about or that we know we're talking about, right? So an example, je vais à la boulangerie. I go to the bakery, okay? If I wanted to replace à la boulangerie, I would say j'y vais. Okay, so E here refers to la boulangerie, the bakery. Now, tricky thing, it comes before the verb, which is something very counterintuitive for English speakers because you tend to put the it or the there at the end, like after the verb, right? So in French, unfortunately, you're going to have to remember to put it before. Now, I did mention there was E and en. So if we use a different verb, we'll use, for example, I'm coming from. So, je viens de la boulangerie. Okay, I'm coming from the bakery. Like I'm on my way back, I'm coming from there. I will replace la boulangerie in this sentence by en. So we'll say, j'en viens. Okay. Why? We're referring to the same place. Why is one sentence with E and the next one with en? This is because of this little word here, a, and this little word here, de. Okay, so a will turn into E. A makes the link between the verb, the action, okay, and the complement. And when we replace that complement by E or en, if it's linked with a, we'll replace it with E. If it's linked with a de, we'll replace it with en. Okay? I feel this sounds very confusing. I hope this made sense. Anyways, so here, any verb that's je vais à, we'll say j'y vais, okay? And je viens de, j'en viens. So these are very common verbs to use with E and en. So you should try and practice using them as much as possible so that they feel more natural, okay? Now, something complicated. This a and this de don't necessarily look like a a and a de all the time because, as you know, a plus le is contracted into a o, and a plus le is contracted into a o with an x. Okay, same with de. De plus le becomes du, and de plus le becomes de. So we might have a de hidden in this de, right? Which is what causes people to forget this E and en rule because they can't actually see the de very obviously. So this is something to keep in mind as well. Now, let me show you a couple more examples with du and au. So, je mange au restaurant tous les jours. Okay, so if I wanted to replace au restaurant, I would replace it because here is a, so we'll replace it with a I. So we'll say j'y mange tous les jours. Okay, now if I want to say je mange du poisson le vendredi, I eat fish on Fridays, I will say j'en mange le vendredi. I eat of it, I eat some of it, I eat it on Fridays. Okay, j'en mange. right? I hope I haven't completely scared you. Right. Okay. So the trickiest thing is to know when a verb is used with a or o or whatever, or with do or with nothing, because some verbs are also used with no little link. Okay, it's a direct complement, right? There's no need for any little word in between, and so they use a whole different system for referring to stuff. Okay, so I'll do that in a separate video if you're interested in knowing more about these complements and prepositions and stuff. This is specifically for the e and on, which is the most confusing. Now, what I recommend is that you find a list. There are plenty of them online with the verbs that use a and the verbs that use de, so that you can start to practice with them. And when you practice, make sure to say them out loud and write them down until they feel natural, okay? Because, for example, if you say j'en vais, like for me, if I say j'en vais, I know, like I just know it's not right. And every single French speaker knows it's not right. They might not be able to explain to you why, but they just know it's not correct, right? So if you can manage to create this thing in your brain where you automatically know that je vais à la boulangerie, you know, but je viens de la boulangerie and je mange au restaurant, you know, these little prepositions, they kind of become natural. And when you hear yourself not use them properly, you know it, right? You're like, hang on, is it a or de or a la? Like, and so this is what you want to create. You want to create this instinct in your brain, and you can do that with practice, 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 and practice. Okay, so if you want to create a few sentences and type them in the comments, I will very, very gladly correct them for you. So yeah, let me know if you have any more questions, if you want me to correct some of your sentences. Let me know if I can do anything to help, because I truly, truly know this is a very difficult topic. And I hope I managed to shed some light on it. And if you are already one of my students, then I will see you very soon in class to practice it together. And for the rest of you guys, don't forget to subscribe and like the video and, you know, share with other French learners and so on. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.